Around Major League Baseball, live on this Wednesday morning, the opening day of May, which is pretty notable for MLB. First full month of the season, that was April, and a few days, of course, into March as the season got started. This is where you start to maybe change your assessment or your evaluation of clubs around MLB in the long marathon that is a 162-game season around the bigs. So we go to the American League East divisional duel that we have this week in Baltimore between the Orioles and the Yanks. The O's blanked the Yanks in the opening game of this set. Baltimore wins game number 2. 4-2 yesterday at home inside Camden Yards. And unlike the opening game of the series, New York was the road favorite yesterday, but the O's win 4-2. They take both of the 2 games to start this series against the Pinstripes.
They're a good team. We're not surprised by this anymore for the Orioles. And quite frankly, if it was like, oh, last year was an anomaly, no, it isn't. This team is stacked from top to bottom here in that 1 through 9. And the only thing that we have slight question marks are, can some of these guys step up in big moments from their pitching staff? You saw Dean Kramer yesterday. He's not a great pitcher, but 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs against the Yankees. That's exactly what you needed yesterday. And you got some timely hitting. You run out to that 4-1 lead early by the end of the 4th inning, and you hold on because you have a very good bullpen that can back you up. We talked about this so many times. Who's going to win the East? Yes, the New York Yankees are still going to be the favorites there, but that plus money right now is too good to pass up on the Baltimore Orioles. And I always say this, Ben. The wins that you get in the month of April and May count exactly the same as those late August, September games when we feel like the pressure is really ratcheted up. So good on the Orioles for knocking down the Yankees now and maybe taking a lead before we even get to mid-May here and can take control of that American League East. I like the Baltimore Orioles, and I'll continue to say it. As long as they're plus money, they're a solid bet up against the Yankees.
Yeah, absolutely so. And Donnie's spot on. Maybe our assessment changes more for what this team truly is in the late July, August, and September. But the wins and losses are the same in April, now into May, as they are then. So Baltimore off to a really good start in the American League East at this moment. The O's 19-10, the Yankees 19-12, a 1-game lead now for the O's atop that division. Tied alongside the Cleveland Guardians for the best record now in the American League, because the Guardians went into Houston yesterday, got off to a very strong start. It's actually kind of funny looking at the box score. Very similar scoring from both Houston and Cleveland yesterday, but ultimately it's the Astros that prevail. A day off after their trip to Mexico City against the Rockies over the weekend. The Astros won both of those games in Mexico City. They come back home and they walk it off in extras. After Cleveland plated one in the top of the 10th, Victor Caratini, the pinch hitter, a 2-run shot in the home half of the 10th as Houston wins 10-9 over Cleveland. 3-game win streak for the Astros, the first time Houston has won 3 games in a row all season long.
This was one of those that you should have seen coming yesterday. We were handicapping these games all the way through. Carlos Carrasco's been a bad pitcher this season. 4 innings pitched, 8 earned runs. Brown just can't get out of his own way. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, so it easily goes over the total. But for me, it's one of those anomaly games. I had 1 RBI prop here from Cleveland side. It was Josh Naylor. Don't you like to see it get out of the way in the first inning with a 3-run home run, which then you say to yourself, why didn't I bet the home run? Why didn't I bet Baltimore RBIs? Why didn't I ladder up? Beggars can't be choosers. But if you would have told me, Ben, before this game, the Houston Astros are going to play 10 runs, and I'm going to get 4 base hits out of Kyle Tucker and Jose Altuve, but I have no RBI to show for it. And then you saw Caratini come in with the pinch hit in the 9-hole, which meant if he just got a base hit, Altuve would be up for a chance for multiple RBI chances, and it didn't happen. But the one prediction was correct. We were going to get runs yesterday, and we certainly did. And for the Astros' sake, improving to 10-19, that would have been a devastating loss yesterday due to the big lead they had that they let slip away, then got it back.
Houston now with double-digit wins after a double-digit offensive effort. They go over the pregame total of 9 by themselves, 19 combined runs, well over the over-under of 9 yesterday. An interesting day out in the desert. Bees caused nearly a 2-hour delay in Phoenix between Arizona and Los Angeles, that being the Dodgers. But after the delay, it was Christian Walker who had himself a night. He got the scoring started, a solo shot for the Diamondbacks in the 4th inning, and then in extras as well, a 2-run homer in the home half of the 10th. His second long ball of the day gives the Diamondbacks a 4-3 win over the Dodgers. Believe in Arizona. Behave, whatever you want to say. Arizona wins in extras 4-3 in the 10th over LA.
By the way, pretty impressive here for the Arizona Diamondbacks, scratching their pitcher and then going with a bullpen game and still beating the Dodgers. And it wasn't a 9-8 final. It was 4-3. So that bullpen did de facto pitch very well. Now I got a question for this, though, because I watched some of the snippets here of the guy, getting the bees or, removing them from the facility. But the stands were still packed. So why actually didn't we play the game? They didn't remove everybody from the field. Were the bees on the field at this point? Because I couldn't get a vantage point from exactly where it was. Why were we delayed by this on the field?
I believe the bees were along the fence, the protective netting, right behind home plate. So they were a little bit concerned that once the action started, would the bees be attracted to what we saw on the diamond? Again, I am no beekeeper like that guy yesterday downtown in the desert, but that is my knowledge of the situation. Thank you, Donnie, for asking that very pertinent question. As we keep it rolling around Major League Baseball, the Seattle Mariners having themselves a great start to this series against the Atlanta Braves. Big outing yesterday out of Luis Castillo. 7 innings of work, no earned runs given up, only 3 hits and 7 Ks as the Mariners, despite 2 late runs from Atlanta in the top of the 8th, hold on for a 3-2 win over the Braves.
Not so fun, Atlanta, is it, playing in the Pacific Northwest, not down in the Big A with high heat and humidity where the ball travels. Only 2 runs for the Braves and another loss. And there's a team right now with 20 wins in Major League Baseball. Not the 19-win Braves, baby. That's your Philadelphia Phillies. Party in the May. Aha.
We'll talk about more Major League Baseball on the other side. The Phils bouncing back in Anaheim against the Halos. More around MLB comes your way next. Just wanted to quickly make this point as we wrap up what we saw last night in the Northwest between the Mariners and the Braves. Again, Luis Castillo, 7 innings of shutout work against Atlanta. The M's have won both of the games in this series by a single run in low-scoring affairs. 2-1 in game number 1 on Monday, 3-2 last night. Luis Castillo for Seattle has made 7 starts this year, has earned a decision in every one. He is already 3-4. He started out 0-4, giving up a ton of runs, 14 in his first 4 starts. Now only 2 earned runs in his last 3. The Mariners' best record DRS in the American League West, now 17-13.
Yeah, one of those teams that you expected so many big things to happen from them last year, and it didn't. So it's one of those teams that you sort of forgot about because you say, okay, there's other pressing needs out there in the West, which means the Houston Astros and also the Texas Rangers. So if they can get it going, because the one thing we've known, they do have a good starting pitching staff with some veteran guys and some young talent here. And they do got some talent that 1 through 9. Just have to put it together at the same time. Good to see him bounce back. And also, when you're handling your business against the Atlanta Braves, that's a really good sign. So great win for them last night. And also Castillo, you need him to bounce back to form here and stay in form, which he's done the past few starts.
And Seattle got off to a 6-10 start. They've won 11 of their previous 14 games. As Donnie mentioned, Philadelphia bouncing back last night in Anaheim against the Angels in the game that Mike Trout did not play. Of course, the torn meniscus. He is having surgery, not season-ending, but it's been a similar story out in Anaheim. Mike Trout has played less than half of the games for the Halos the last 3 MLB season. That sad trend continues out in LA, but Philadelphia bounces back. The Phils, the first team in Major League Baseball to get to 20 wins. But despite all of that, the hottest team in the bigs at the moment, the team we expected to win the American League Central, now looking the part. The Minnesota Twins, 9-game win streak for Minnesota, including both of the opening 2 games in this series against the Chicago White Sox. And it's been a Max Kepler game-winning RBI in the top of the 9th in each of the 2 games for Minnesota to rally and pull off a victory. Make it 9 straight for the Twins.
Yeah, big win yesterday. I did want to take this as my best bet, the team total for Minnesota. I had to wait till late in the game where they tacked on a couple runs, but they did get that here. On my pitching card yesterday, I thought the worst pitcher was Soroka here for the Chicago White Sox. He wasn't bad. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs giving up, but it was the late game heroics by the Minnesota Twins to pick up that victory on the road against the Chicago White Sox, who were playing better baseball as of late. But yes, the Minnesota Twins should be winning the Central Division. I do think when it's all said and done, they probably will win that division. And based on games like that where you can't lose to a team that's technically not as good, come back and put that victory in your back pocket here, getting that run in the top of the ninth inning. Good win for the Twins, good win for the people as we cash in our play of the day on the team total over for the Minnesota Twins.
And when you look at the Twins right now, again, the preseason favorite to win the American League Central, the White Sox are the worst team in the American League, worst team in baseball, 6-24 right now. Everybody else now, including Minnesota, above 500. Detroit, KC, Cleveland, all above 500, a much more competitive division from the successful standpoint than maybe we expected. The Guardians, the favorites, plus 130, about a $0.50 in front of the Twins, plus 185. Now that number for Minnesota. And speaking of bad teams, Miami at least snaps a 7-game losing skid yesterday against the Colorado Rockies, who are also one of the worst teams in all of MLB, strictly in the National League. A walk-off victory for Miami in the 10th inning, 7-6 at home for the Fish. They played 2 as Colorado scored 1 in the top of that inning. Miami rallies with a huge bottom of the 9th and a huge bottom of the 10th to snap that losing skid at 7.
2 teams now that have 7 wins on the Major League Baseball season, and I don't know how many fans. Probably that's 7 wins on each one of those, which totals to 14. Probably more fans in the stands, or less, not enough fans in the stands than those 14 combined wins. But what a wild game. I don't know if we've ever seen an anomaly like this, Ben. 5 in the top of the first inning. Nobody else scores the rest of the game until the bottom of the 9th inning, where you plate 5 more runs. That's absolutely incredible. And also, if you're a Rockies backer, like, yeah, we had a 5-run lead heading into the bottom of the 9th inning, and you didn't even walk away with a money line victory. That's absolutely outrageous. But that's one of those things that you have to watch out for baseball, where you say, how can a team score 5 times in the top of the first inning and not score again until you got that ghost runner on second base in the 10th inning, and then you take the loss? Tough scene there for Rockies backers, but the game goes over the total. I don't know how, but that's an odd game, and it did.
Over 8, the Marlins win as a minus 138 home money line favorite. Should show you all you need to know about Colorado. That Miami, who also only has 7 wins, was booked as a home favorite despite losing 7 games in a row. And